Yo guys, it's Senthil here, and I'm back at it again with another Attack on Titan analysis with Gerjo and Sam. Again, this episode was a banger, back to back.
Mad.
Yeah, it was a sick episode.
Alright, so let's get into this. It starts off with, well, it goes back to like a flashback with Grisha and Frida fighting in their Titan forms. And then you go back, and then after that, you go back to the scene in last episode with Zeke and
There's a lot
Grisha.
of there's a lot of overlap in this season. But to be honest, I don't mind because I think it helps you remember because it
gets you immersed. It gets you immersed.
Because it immerses you more than because some animes would be like on last week's episode on blah 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 blah. But this one it kind of just immerses you and throws you straight in without like kind of pulling you out of what's going on. So I quite like how it starts each episode with like the end of the last episode.
Yeah. It also kind of just it reminds you what happened last episode just by flashing you the end of it. You remember the whole of last episode.
And then we go back to the convergence, and you basically see Zeke have an epiphany. But you're like, huh? If you could see future vision, like if the Attack Titan's abilities, like future vision or memories of the future, you can manipulate what Grisha could see, and like manipulate the whole events. And then everyone was stood silent, but we know who it is. And then he then said, like, Zeke asked him, like, how long have you been seeing memories for? And then he said, like, ever since 4 years ago, which obviously we know is the point when he's kissed Historia's hand.
Yeah, we spoke about
officially get into contact with her.
Yeah.
But then after that, Zeke tells Ymir to go to continue with his plan, which she initially goes to do. But then Eren is apparently not having it, and he
rips out his own hand.
And he gets to pull his chain and tears his thumbs off. And he runs over to her. He runs over to her, grabs her, or something, like that.
Yeah.
And then we go to her memory. So this is her past. I don't know if this is Eren seeing her past, or if this is just a flashback of what happened to her.
Yeah.
But so we initially start with her inside of what I can only assume is her birth village, where she was initially born. And something to note, which becomes slightly more important later on in the episode, their eyes, everybody's eyes are the same as how Historia's look when she's in the convergence. Not Historia, sorry. How Ymir's eyes look when she's in the convergence. So you can't see her actual eyes, and they're just kind of just like shrouded. But that becomes important later. We see her village get pillaged by we now know it's Eldians, early Eldians. The very original Eldian tribe. So this is the very start. This is 2,000 years ago. Yeah. This is the very start. It's like the original Eldian tribe, which they're still at war with Marley. So this has been a long running feud.
Yeah.
But so
she gets captured.
What we believe is she gets her tongue cut out so that she can't speak, because she's a slave, basically. She gets taken as a slave, and they all get their tongues cut out. So the only person that could speak is essentially the king.
Yeah, and because originally we thought it was a style choice, because originally we were like, why didn't no one speaking? And then we rewatched it. We saw like there's a scene of someone getting the tongue cut off. Yeah, it's like quite nice, like, because it's like symbolic of like, oh, he has the voice, he's in control. But at the same time, it's like,
more like
this genuine happens.
Only the king can speak, type of thing. Like the slaves cannot speak to the king, or whatever, or anyone really. But that's kind of like sort of how it was. So she was a slave. She let some. Well, to be fair, so she was accused of letting some pigs free. It may have been her, but it also may not have been her.
We got the scene of the king saying who let the pigs free, and he says, if like to a group of them, he says, if no one tells me, I'll gouge all one of your eyes out, because you only need one eye to be a slave. And they kind of it shows them all pointing at Ymir.
So we don't actually know if it is actually her. It could have been her, but it's sort of implied that she sort of got thrown under the bus because she was like the only kid there, I assume. Like, from what I saw, anyway.
Because when he asks her, and he looks at like, "Was it you?" and she looks back at them, and they kind of goes like, and then kind of nods with like I didn't really do this, so I'm going to take it. but so she's like quite a genuinely good person.
It's it goes back to what a little thing that we forgot to mention was there was a short scene of when it was
Frida and Historia.
and Frida reading the book, and Frida says, "Oh, you want to be like her? She's kind. She helps everyone." Blah blah blah. I think that's sort of this is what this is supposed to represent, is she took the blame even though it wasn't her. But
yeah. Next we see her getting, the king goes, "Oh, I'll let you free." The next thing we see her being chased down, hunted down. That's kind of her punishment, and she crawls into this tree, which we believe is kind of representative of the tree of life. And we see this spine thing we've never seen before attached to her, transform her into the original Titan.
I don't know if I said this on camera or not, but I had this theory for quite a while that subjects of Ymir they're not like cursed, rather than they have a sort of like a hereditary disease or a parasite that causes them to be how they are. I think this is slightly lays a bit more credence to that possibility, because it doesn't look like, you know, like a fucking curse or a god or whatever. It looks like a parasite. It's like a spinal cord, like a weird like yellow spine, not yellow, like sort of clear and blue spine. It looks like a parasite, and it attaches to Ymir.
Ymir's spine.
And then she turns into a Titan, which again it lays credence to the possibility that this creature, whatever it is like a disease.
Parasite, like it's infected, and this kind of adds credence when later on we see like the mid-credits thing or like the mid-title thing, and it kind of we translated the text and what it says about it, and it kind of says that it's a parasite.
Is it a god or is it a parasite? Like, they don't really know.
Yeah, it says a pathogen or god. I think it's Isayama, or at least for now, it's sort of keeping it ambiguous. So
yeah, but they may later go into it. It's like a parasite or something.
Yeah, moving on quickly from that, we see Ymir in her Titan form, like forming loads of different acts. Yeah. As later on, we kind of like it kind of cuts quite quickly through this thing. We see her transform, and then instantly we see her commit loads of different acts as the Titan, and then it cuts to her much older, with the king speaking to her, saying like, "Thank you for doing this, blah 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 blah."
Yeah, thank you for building our like walls and stuff. Thank you for
stuff like that.
No. He doesn't thank her. He just says, "You've done well."
Well, yeah, he does. He doesn't thank her. He's just like,
"Done well" is kind of just.
He's sort of like, good rewards for being obedient, sort of, in a sense, like not necessarily congratulating her, just like a well done.
The closest thing to a well done that you could get.
Yeah, probably. But then he says something that is on crud, which is basically, your reward is you get to bear my children, which is like, I don't think she
tapped, but
she doesn't.
But anyway,
and then later go on that you see like,
it's very reminiscent of Historia.
Yeah,
like you see the scene of her sitting pregnant, and it's like literally tit for tat the exact scene, but just changed Ymir with Historia. That's the same thing. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like a similar thing where it's like maybe Historia sort of like she's going down this same path. Like she's a slave to the people now,
which ironically she sort of like early in season 3 she sort of denoted that path. She'd say, "I'm not going to be the good girl anymore," and now she's going exactly the same route as Ymir. But anyway, moving on from that, we just see like a bunch of like flashes with her children being birthed and stuff, and then you see like and you see her like transforming like quite a few times, and then you see like this like celebration, I guess. I don't know what it is. Like you see the king like sitting on the throne, and you see a bunch of like army men.
I think what it is because it was post battle. I think it was like we've defeated the Malayan Empire. That was like the celebration of it. So Ymir is walking down this like aisle she's flanked by like a bunch of soldiers. They're on either side, and she's walking down this aisle, and the king is being like, he's getting his armor put on by a bunch of women, which I think is supposed to show that like Ymir was only like a means to an end. She was never actually. She never held any importance in his life.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, we later find that out with one of the soldiers like throws a spear, aiming at the king, and she takes the hit for it. And then Ymir sort of looks at the king, sort of like wanting approval, like seeking approval from him. And then she,
I know that won't kill you, basically.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. I think this scene is that scene with the women and her realizing she's not important is reason she chose to die as opposed to just turning into a titan or whatever and becoming back alive.
Because she sort of says like, what's the point? Like,
so she chose in that moment to do something of her own free will and just die.
Yeah.
We were also saying this kind of leads to the reason that the Titan holders only survive for a certain amount of time. This was kind of the start of it because she decides to die after, I believe, how many years is it again?
13 years.
It could have been 13 years after she got her abilities. It could have been that she died, and that's Ymir's curse.
Yeah,
with Titan holders.
Yeah. Next becomes one of the most clapped things ever, where the king immediately goes to the children of Ymir and says, "Come on, kids, eat your mum's dead body so you can gain Titan powers."
Yeah, we also learn like the children's name is Wall, Rose, and not Wall, Rose, Sina, and Maria, which are the walls of the Paradise Island.
Which is now why we know that why the priests were so adamant about like desecration of the walls.
Yeah, they held it as holy, which obviously, in a sense, they are. They're the sons of, well, not the sons, but daughters of the goddesses.
Well, the daughters of God, basically.
Yeah.
This is their universe's version of God.
Yeah.
There is, and what after they've eaten her flesh, what we can only assume is that the Titan abilities were broken down into 3 each, and then they had 3 kids each. Then they all ate their bodies. And then it's 9 Titan abilities.
Yeah.
And then they all had kids and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And then like
that was sort of,
you see like it flashes back to like Fritz and like telling his children to never die, carry on the thing, and as he continues to talk, it flashes back to Eren cutting off the flashback, like him saying, like
just before that, we get to Ymir in the Convergence as a young girl again, and she's sort of looking at. So you have the trunk of the tree, and then you have the different branches coming in. These are the lives of all the different subjects.
It keeps splitting. It keeps splitting as
And what we also see is Ymir hand building, I'm assuming, every single colossal titan that had to be in the walls by hand, which can only assume that because time runs differently in the Convergence, like fucking, what is that film? Oh, the one with the dreams and like time.
Inception?
It's kind of like Inception, because like 10 years in the Convergence point could be like fucking 5 seconds outside.
Yeah.
So she's been in there for her own time and for a million fucking years, just building.
For eternity, just
Titan.
Yeah.
It's kind of deep. But yes, and we do flash to Eren cutting off the dream, which is why I was saying it may be that Eren was actually seeing her memories by grabbing a hold of her, because he sort of sees it and he's like, I'm like, stop! I'm gonna end this that happened to you. I'm gonna end the world that wronged you so much. But he doesn't tell her. He gives her a choice, as opposed to Zeke, who's ordering her, and it's very specific wording. He says, "I order you to do whatever."
He's like, "You have to listen to me. I'm of royal blood." And then Eren's like,
"You're not." Giving her a choice.
Yeah, he's like, "You're not a god. You're not like a devil either. You're just a human. You're not like."
You're not a slave or you're not a slave or a god.
Or god,
you're just human. But so Eren basically is attempting to convince her because as opposed to ordering her, he's attempting to convince her to join his side, which I can only assume she does, because as I was saying previously, with the eyes, they're initially like shrouded, you can't see their eyes, but we get a shot of Ymir's face and you can see her eyes, and she's very angry, obviously,
Yeah.
and she's crying.
Same expression as Eren had, like when he kissed Historia's hand. Like,
Yeah.
also right
And then
before that, Eren sort of says like, "You've been waiting, haven't you? Like you've been signaling to me,
Yeah.
for someone for 2,000 years." Which, if you remember the episode, is to you 2,000 years later. At first, we sort of thought it was like Eren's Titan abilities. Well, obviously that didn't make sense because he wasn't a Titan shifter then.
Yeah.
And now
So
we know it's because it's Ymir. Because Ymir, obviously, she's
Calling.
connected to all like the Eldians. So she was signaling.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
me signaling Eren, which is it's pretty cool because it's kind of like we was talking about this. It's kind of like the whole idea of Eren being the center has now kind of gone to Ymir being like the center and like vice versa.
That's what I was actually gonna say. So technically, it was moreover, Ymir was the center,
And then now
was the
Eren's
means.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But now with the episode name specifically is called, was it From You
From You
2,000 years ago?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's shifted, and now Eren has become center. Eren is now like the new.
This gets reinforced later on when I believe Ymir then passes on. We see
Yeah.
the final thing that
Fine thing comes from Eren's own body to his head. Fucking grabs him, and then
You also see it grab Zeke, so I'm assume Eren's like absorbed Zeke or something. Like
or he fucking kidnapped him. It's like
Yeah.
You think about it. Do you guys remember the robots from Pacific Rim?
Yeah.
Like, they're so big. You need two people.
But only one has real control.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this sense, it's like you need the second brain, but only Eren. Eren is control of the Titan, but Zeke is there also. I don't think he's dead. I doubt Zeke is actually dead.
No, I don't think he's dead.
This explains why later on, or right after that, we're able to. Because then we cut back to the present with the Armin and Mixer and all that, and we see the
you see all the walls breaking down. You see all the colossal titans.
Side note: the coldest music.
Yeah. So sick. It sounds like a Dark Souls fucking boss theme, bro.
Yeah, like fucking. it's so good, but yeah. So the rumbling begins as the walls all collapse around everyone. The colossal titans sort of like come alive, and they begin walking. They begin all walking down towards the sea.
And then we cut to Armin, and he's like, "We won." The way he says it is so like.
It's like he thinks only the outer wall is being destroyed.
And then he later notices, like, hold on, there's two. Why is he using all the rest of the walls? It doesn't make sense.
And
then you cut to Eren, like talking to them.
So cold.
Eren speaks all of the subjects of Ymir.
Yeah.
In his new form, we see his new form evolve to like this massive. He's like a bony skeleton, kind of like Ymir is in the first bit. We just
a lot bigger.
Yeah, a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But we cut to him speaking to everyone, all of them, and them just looking like, what the fuck is going on? It's very cool.
Yeah.
And his voice acting at this point also is it's just so cold.
Sublime, bro. It's sick.
It's so cold.
He was basically saying, like, he was basically explaining his, like, end goal. He said, the world declared war on Paradise Island. He rejects the wish of, like, Paradise Island and the rest of the subjects of Ymir dying. He's like, fuck that. So he decides the plausible solution to that is to destroy the rest of the world with the
just kill
Rumble.
everyone. Be done with it all. Just kill everyone.
Oh, yeah, we see his eyes, and we see there's a moment where it's like animated, and it cuts to his face as the Titan, and that moment is so good.
It's like you have to ask yourself: is he the hero of this situation, or is this
like,
fucking actual devil? Like,
if you would show this out of context to anyone who didn't watch the show, you'd be like, yeah, that's the villain.
yeah, that's the villain of the show, and that's like Zeke is the hero or something. Because you see like some of the scenes with Zeke and Eren, but that's pretty much it. This episode is a little bit longer.
Very amazing episode, but
very good episode. Who cares if it dragged on longer? This was a good
Peace.
bye.
In a bit. Very cool.